Many people in this world make a great effort to be very kind, ensuring they don't hurt others or tarnish their image in front of them. They work hard to fit into the mold of the society they grew up in, without the ability to say no or to rebel against certain things that need rejection and condemnation. This is what kindness is in the eyes of many people. Kindness synonymous with weakness, psychological fragility, appeasement, and pleading. However, true kindness is not this or that, especially when situations require a lot of firmness and strictness. If you are one of these people or part of their kindness, this book is for you because it will free you from this psychological stagnation and inertia and will inspire in you the will to understand the meaning of kindness in a different way, where others do not exploit you, nor do you suffer their insults or beg for their approval in any way. Don't Be Too Nice by Duke Robbins. People in general tend toward perfection in everything, striving hard to appear in a state of absolute perfection without considering the conditions of humanity, namely, the capacity for error and deficiency. We are bound by imperfection, not because we are evil, but because our nature dictates it. Thus, appearing perfect is contrary to the simplest human and natural conditions that govern the human world. Some may think that such an appearance is a form of kindness that expresses our humanity, doing things without making mistakes or fearing criticism, as if it were the destruction of all achievements. However, the focus should ultimately be on the work, because no matter how much effort a person puts into perfecting their tasks, they will only achieve a small fraction of relative perfection due to this inherent nature. Our true success is not reflected in perfection, but in the moments and effort expended. This is what makes us feel proud and special. When we manage to complete our tasks and duties, we rejoice not because our intellectual and professional projects are complete, but simply because we did our best to achieve them. That is what is required. Also, when a person is overwhelmed by false kindness, they think they are obligated to perform tasks beyond their capabilities, greater than their abilities. So you see them working hard for long hours or doing things they are not skilled at in order to gain approval. Thus, kindness based on appeasement strives with all its might to drain the human being, emptying them of their intellectual and physical content as a result of these accumulated mistakes. What we must understand here is that obligating ourselves to unbearable tasks destroys our physical and intellectual efforts and exposes ourselves to total consumption, excessive stress, mental distraction, sleep disturbances, and insomnia. We become like circus performers juggling balls in the air, powerless, or like someone sailing a ship with excess weight that could sink at any moment. Kindness is not about exhausting ourselves. This is a kind of unnecessary naivety because when we exhaust ourselves, the result is internal anger and dissatisfaction with the achievement, which is not driven by desire and pleasure. The idea is that the pursuit of perfection makes a person feel inadequate, and kindness is not about overburdening oneself. The kind person falls into the trap of their kindness, turning into easy prey in the hands of others who exploit them in a way more brutal than one might imagine. One of the ugly images that some people exploit in a kind person is turning them into a person without decision-making power, so they don't express or say what they want. And here the person becomes a tool for appeasement, losing their humanity entirely. They find it extremely difficult to express what they want in various social situations and settings. Therefore, it is necessary to practice mastering some practical steps to avoid falling into the trap of saying what others want, not what you want. Recognize the mistake of this behavior, decide not to return to this form of behavior, and seek the help of others. Also, those deluded by distorted kindness believe that if they suppress their anger or do not express it in some way, this will make them more acceptable to others. This is pure delusion because expressing anger is an essential part of our humanity, and anger, in the end, is a discharge of negative energies a person experiences due to an unacceptable situation or behavior, and suppressing it has physical as well as psychological harms. The more a person suppresses anger, the more they feel nervous, losing the ability to control their nerves, and they also suffer all forms of psychological torture in moments of isolation. Kind people are wrong when they do not express their anger because their idealism and their way of thinking, which leans towards the idea of perfection, make them think more about not tarnishing their image in front of others than about maintaining their physical and psychological health. The strange thing is that this reality is far from the truth because expressing anger and being honest about it can earn you more benefits than suppressing it in some cases, as it also improves your chances of forming solid social relationships characterized by durability. Kind people often suffer from exploitation, bullying, and attacks due to their inability to respond in most cases. But this sometimes makes their reactions strong due to the pressure on their psyche or the excessive feeling of contempt or hatred. Since humans are also instinctual beings in some aspects, they are prone to impulsive reactions if attacked by others. This instinctive and impulsive state has led the author to advise those who suffer from it or respond to offenses harshly to be cautious in such difficult situations. Perhaps the most important advice is to think carefully during moments of anger and take enough time to achieve a state of balance and psychological stability. The author also advises understanding some situations and not taking them too seriously, or assuming that those involved intend to cause harm. This state of calm and deliberation can make others more willing to listen to you and understand the reasons and causes of your anger, and perhaps not repeat the behavior that was or will be a source of anger. Also, a chronic problem for kind people is that they strive hard to maintain their beautiful image in front of others, even if it costs them a lot of losses. There are two problems faced by this type of person. One is confronting people with the truth and being honest about what you want, and the other is maintaining your calm and serenity through flattery and polite, but insincere, speech. This way of thinking is primarily due to the fact that the kind person falls victim to an illusionary image that makes them a prisoner of kindness and the love of others. If they reflect a little, they would find that honesty is also the foundation of social relationships. The truth, no matter how shocking or harsh it may be to weak hearts, is ultimately much better than deception or a distorted relationship based on social hypocrisy. Here, there is a need to reorganize thinking to reconcile oneself with one's image and to form new relationships with others based on respect, honesty, and dealing with the ethics of love and kindness, far from the illusion created by the ethics of social hypocrisy. The fault lies not in the truth, but in the idea that flattery is better than honesty. The idea is that impulsive anger reduces the possibility of communication with others, and honesty in dealing is far better than the ethics of social hypocrisy. In some cases, the kind person turns into a child, distributing advice right and left without considering the simplest conditions of giving advice. This behavior seems annoying to many of those around them, considering that advice is a context that respects people's privacy, their circumstances, place, and time. Since the kind person is often driven by naive and simple motives, they fail to appreciate such things, creating a kind of alienation from their behavior or advice, making it difficult to integrate and communicate with even the closest people to them. To avoid this kind of social clash, a set of conditions must be observed, summarized as follows. Consider the context in which advice is given. Avoid direct and blunt approaches, use a gentle manner coupled with evidence and reasoning, and consider the time and place when advising in front of others. The kind person also requires special treatment because kindness, due to accumulation and upbringing, turns into a form of chronic addiction for its practitioners. This addiction or inclination toward this form of human behavior requires consideration in communication. Therefore, if we want to help such people out of this difficult situation, and we do not handle it well, the results can be psychologically devastating. Trying to pull a person out and save them from their addiction in an arbitrary manner leads to further immersion in it, and instead of saving the person, we contribute more to perpetuating their state of being without help. Hence, extreme caution is required, especially when dealing with such fragile and weak psyches. It is preferable, instead, to talk to them after they have gained confidence in themselves and not to embarrass them in front of others until the appropriate conditions are met for them to quit this behavior that is harmful to their psyches. The idea is that excessive kindness is a form of addiction, and direct advice repels the person more than it attracts them. I hope you found this episode useful and enjoyable. If you liked the episode, don't forget to like and share this video. See you in the next episode.